We are looking at chapter number 6, which is physical and chemical changes. Physical and chemical changes, we are going to take question and answer on this. First is classify the changes involved in the following processes as physical or chemical. Please understand that when the composition changes, then only it is chemical changes, and when the only form is changed, means it can be brought back into the previous form, then it is physical. So if a change is irreversible, it is chemical. If it is reversible, it is physical. So photosynthesis, this is a chemical change. Dissolving sugar in water is a physical change. Burning of coal is a chemical change. Melting of wax is a physical change. Beating aluminium to make aluminium foil is a physical change. And digestion of food, because the composition is changed, what you intake is not that is coming out, entirely it is changed, so it's a chemical change. So physical changes are dissolving sugar in water, melting of wax, beating aluminium to make aluminium foil, and as I said, photosynthesis, burning of coal, and digestion of food. These are three chemical changes. We have to say true or false. Cutting a log of wood into pieces is a chemical change. This is false. Why? The wood is like this and you are cutting it, so it will remain wood, right? The composition is not changing. Formation of manure from leaves is physical change. No, it is a chemical change, because the leaves, when the bacteria and other sunlight, etc., water vapor works on it, then it becomes manure. So there is a proper chemical change. You cannot make leaves from manure. It is irreversible. So this is false. As I see, these two are false. Then iron pipes coated with zinc do not get rusted easily. This is exactly true. Why? Because there is a coating of zinc on iron pipes which does not allow the water vapor and oxygen to make or to combine with iron to form the rust. So this is true. Iron and rust are the same substances. So the answer is false, because iron and rust, they have different chemical composition. Iron, when it combines with oxygen and water vapor, it forms rust. So it has a different chemical combination. So this is false. Next is condensation of steam is not a chemical change. It is not a chemical change, right? Because it is a reversible process and there is no form, means the chemical form is not changing. Fill in the blanks. When carbon dioxide is passed through lime water, it turns milky due to the formation of calcium carbonate, CaCO3. The chemical name of baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. This was calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Two methods by which rusting of iron can be prevented is by greasing and galvanization. Changes in which only physical properties of substance change are called physical changes. Changes in which new substances are formed are called chemical changes. When baking soda is mixed with lemon juice, bubbles are formed with the evolution of gas. What type of change it is? Explain. See, when the baking soda is combined with lemon juice, you will see salt, you will see carbon dioxide and water. So when acid, this reacts with carbonates, salt is formed. This salt is formed releasing the carbon dioxide and water. When candle burns, both physical and chemical change takes place. You have to identify these changes. You have to give another example of familiar process in which both the chemical and physical changes are taking place. See, the physical change and chemical change which are taking place when you are having a, say, candle and it is, say, burning, right? So how does it work? So this is a flame, right? So physical changes on heating this candle, this melts. It melts into physical, and this melts, and it can again be, because when it cools, it will again become the wax by itself. So on heating, candle wax gets melted. This is a physical change. Now in chemical change, the wax which is near, say if this is the flame, this is the flame, the wax near to flame burns and it will give you new substances like the carbon dioxide, the carbon soot, the water vapor, heat and light. So this is a chemical changes because it is irreversible. One more example is cooking of food, because here the physical and chemical changes are occurring. You see, the cooking of food, for example, cellulose we cannot digest, so we boil or we cook the food so that it transforms into certain form of carbohydrates here. So the chemical process changes and the physical thing is also changing. How would you show that setting of curd is a chemical change? The setting of curd is due to lactic acid. So setting of curd, because of the lactobacillus, this curd is chemical change, since a new substance which is the lactic acid is formed, which differs in the taste from original substance. The fat and proteins are different from the lactic acid because the content has changed. So the change is irreversible, because you cannot take curd and you can convert into milk. You cannot do that. Explain why burning of wood and cutting it into small pieces are considered as two different type of changes. Since you are cutting wood, that means you are just physically changing it. But when you are burning, you are entirely changing it to different chemical composition. So burning of wood is a chemical change, because wood or burning convert to new substances like the ash, the carbon dioxide, the water vapor, heat and light. The change is irreversible. But when you cut a wood in smaller pieces, this is a physical change, because the original composition does not change. The wood remains wood and no new substances are created or formed. Describe how crystals of copper sulfate are prepared. So we'll take step by step. How does it work? First of all, we will take a water in a beaker and add few drops of H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. We heat the water. We heat the water, and when it starts boiling, we add copper sulfate powder slowly, and we will continuously stir it also. So we will continue adding copper sulfate powder till the saturation level. We will filter out the solution and we will leave it for cooling. See, when it is being cooled, please do not disturb it. That is, leave undisturbed the solution when it is cooling. So we can just observe after a few hours that crystal of copper sulfate will be formed. Explain how painting of iron gate prevents it from rusting. See, iron is fond of oxygen and water vapor. It will combine with them and form rust. That is FeOH, or hydroxide products, and that is basically the rust. So for rusting, the presence of oxygen and water or water vapor is required. When you coat the iron with paint, then there is no direct connection or direct contact between iron and oxygen or air. So there is no rust, or rusting can be prevented. Explain why rusting of iron object is faster in coastal region than the desert. See, in desert there is less water in the air, that is, water vapor is less. In coastal areas, because it is coast, there is all water means all sea. So the water vapor content is too high. So the iron, when it wants to convert to, or when it gets hold of, or it has a direct contact with the water vapor and oxygen, then it converts to rust. Because water is too much here, the iron will take less time to convert into rust than in deserts. So for rusting, the presence of both oxygen and moisture, which is we are calling as water vapor, is required. So in coastal areas, the quantity of moisture content in air is high, that is highly humid, as compared to the desert region, and low humid. So the rusting becomes faster in coastal areas. Next is the gas we use in kitchen is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. In the cylinder, it exists as a liquid. So when it comes out from the cylinder, it becomes a gas, and that is change A, and it burns. The following statement pertains to these changes. Correct. You have to choose the correct one. So process A is chemical change. No, it is just the liquefied which was in the liquid form is coming to gas. So the form is not changing. You can always convert gas to liquid. So the answer would be this one. Process B is chemical change, because when you are burning it, it is actually changing the form. So process B is the chemical change. Anaerobic bacteria digest animal waste and produce biogas. The biogas is then burnt as fuel, that is chain B. These are the statements pertaining to these changes. You have to choose the correct one. So which is the correct answer? The answer is both process A and B are chemical changes, because the animal waste, when they produce biogas, there is a proper form of chemical changes, because you cannot convert biogas to animal waste. Similarly, when the biogas is burned as a fuel, the content which is produced is totally different. You cannot grab them and convert into biogas. It is irreversible. So both processes A and B are chemical changes. So this is all about these question and answer. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.